Audio, the accompanying.
One, two, 1, 2.
I could hear you, Dale.
Thanks, Kevin.
Good morning, Kevin. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Sound good.
Thank
Like
you.
your rainbow behind you.
That's That was a picture taken from the valley below. That's my house there. I haven't found the pot of gold yet.
All right, can you hear me? Can you hear us, Kevin?
Yes, I can.
Okay, we're ready to start then. It's this is Bill Canada, Custer County Commissioner. Time to start our meeting on Wednesday, April 7th, 2021 at 9:01. I'll call the meeting to order and remind everybody to mute their phones. I did that again. Got it on silent. And we'll begin the meeting. By the way, this meeting is broadcast on Zoom and on by the phone. We've got about 8 participants right now. We'll introduce them when we get into the meeting as people begin to talk. But let's start off the meeting with the call to order with the pledge, and I'll start it today. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, roll call, Kelly.
Commissioner Canada.
Here.
Commissioner Flower. Commissioner Day.
Present via Zoom.
Attorney Clint Smith.
Present, not via Zoom.
And clerk to the board, Kelly Camper.
Here in person. Okay, in the room, we've got Reggie Foster, our PIO, Public Information Officer, and our good IT guru, Jordan Benson. Thank you, Jordan. Okay, we'll introduce people as we go along, like I said earlier. Mend the agenda. Anything to mend? Kevin, have you got anything in mind?
No, I don't.
Tom?
No, sir.
Okay, good. And this time we can read the minutes approve them because Kelly's got them all. So do I have a motion on the minutes?
I would move to approve the minutes from March 17th, March 24th, and March 31st as presented.
Got a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the March 17th, 24th, and 31st minutes as is presented. And I'd like to say good job, Kelly, discussion wise.
Thank you.
Any other discussion or points on them? Okay, hearing none, let's vote. Tom?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Canada, aye. All right. Any commissioner items? You get to start, Tom.
None.
Kevin?
Just a quick report. I did get in touch with the two gentlemen from Channel 11 and 13. We're scheduled to meet at Road and Bridge on Monday at 8 o'clock to go look at the translators.
That's gonna make some people happy.
Date and time again, sir? I'm sorry.
Monday 10, he said.
Monday morning, the 12th, we will meet at the Road and Bridge at 8 o'clock and then go up to the translators from there.
Okay, thank you.
Deal, thanks, Kevin. And from yesterday, I do not have anything new. A couple of things on the airport, and we'll talk about that when the airport guys come in. Clint,
I was giving some thought to we discussed the language of the proposed STR amendment to the zoning resolution. I had some thoughts about that last night, and I started working on some suggestions that I'm going to submit to you all. I think one of the biggest problems here is people think that if we call STRs businesses, that suddenly automatically makes them, as we discussed, commercial property subject.
no,
And I think we just need to clarify that in the zoning resolution.
that's a great idea.
So they understand that by state statute, they maintain their residential status.
They're already classified as a
And we
residential
will
business.
call them business because that's how the IRS identifies them.
And state.
Because they're income producing property at that point. But it doesn't change. It's not going to cost the property owners any more in property taxes.
Right.
I just think maybe we've had that language in there, it might ease them a little
You
bit.
can rewrite, we're gonna have a quick little workshop on that so we can consolidate all our thoughts. Great.
So I guess that's pretty much all I did yesterday after the meeting.
Okay.
Took my dog for a walk.
Well, that's a given.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you have that uncanny knack of knowing when I'm out.
I know,
walking my
every
dog.
time I call, he's walking the dog. All right, thanks. How about you, Kelly? Anything for us? Anything from the public?
Mr. Chairman, before we move on, I was remiss. I wanted to bring it up under commissioner items. I would request that we schedule a special BOCC meeting on Friday, the 30th of April, to schedule a public hearing for the short-term rental for the amendments to the zoning resolution.
Okay, let's think.
How's that fit in everybody's schedule? We
So
have a commissioner meeting in the morning.
we do it at what time?
Oh, 1:30, doesn't matter to me. Guys.
Yeah.
And I think we ought to do it as a special meeting in the event we want to conduct business. I'm not sure.
Well, it needs to be
Do it
like this
as a
because we're making a
workshop.
decision.
Well, we may not, but
We may change.
at least we'd have the ability to make a decision if we scheduled a special meeting instead of a workshop.
Okay, and we want to have a workshop before that though, don't we? Have to discuss the changes, unless you want to do it real time.
I had assumed we would go through all the stuff in that meeting. But if you want to do a workshop.
Sort of like we did before, we had a meeting, we got presented and we got a presentation and then we went back and discussed what we thought would be suggested changes and they did then. We sort of got the same thing. They had another meeting, presented it to us. Do we want to?
Well,
Otherwise, we may end up going twice.
yeah, which if we had a
Well, we can talk
workshop and a meeting, would be twice anyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kevin, you have any feeling about that?
Were you referring to me, Tom?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch my name. It might be better if we did have our changes put together and then schedule a public meeting. But that's kind of what you were planning on doing on the 30th then, was going through this to make our changes and then schedule a public hearing. Is that correct?
Well,
Well,
he's scheduling a public hearing when we make the change. We can schedule that as a special meeting. I think that's legit. We could talk about having a discussion like Kevin suggested there as well on discussing what we heard and either agreeing or not, and then coming to a conclusion.
My understanding is we can make changes to the amendment and not send it back to the planning commission. If you think we need to make changes, recommendations back to the planning commission, then I would agree.
I don't think we have to.
could do it in a workshop format. And in that case, I would throw out a date of April the 23rd, a week before that.
Because the public hearing, the people need to see the final version, right, that we've all agreed to.
It may not be the final
Well, that's
version,
my
but the
point,
most
but
recent
in-
version, yeah. It
in
doesn't
a-
mean it couldn't be changed again.
Yes, after comments from the public, but I think we all ought to agree that here's what we want to do and listen to them.
I suppose maybe we meet on the 23rd and in a workshop format then for that.
Where is, what day is, what's going on
Friday.
23rd?
I can do it in the afternoon. I'm not available in the morning on the 23rd.
Kevin, what's your schedule look like?
Looks like I could make the 23rd work.
Does 1 o'clock work for you?
Yeah, let's do 1 o'clock on the 23rd. It won't take long, shouldn't it? All right. And then we'll do you got the meeting on the 30th, Kelly?
Yeah.
All right.
And what time did you say on that one?
That was one.
Well, because we have a BOCC
BOCC.
meeting, I thought maybe we move that to 1:30, give us a little extra time for lunch if we run long.
1:30.
Just a suggestion.
My dogs would be very happy about that.
All right. Okay. Moving on.
Well-
Are you ready?
No.
Yeah, no.
So we need to post notice that we're given 2-week notice to schedule that meeting. So who's going to do that? I can certainly do it if you want me to, but we got to have that posted according to the resolution 14 days
Yeah,
prior to the
Right.
meeting.
Is that
So
14 now?
It's gonna have to be done on the 15th.
15th, right.
On the, yeah,
So that'll give you 2 weeks.
yeah. All right, we'll get it posted. I'll see to it that it does. We'll either have Kelly do it or Tina will be back and we'll get the notice. And is there a format for that? It's just a BOCC special meeting for the public hearing of the zoning,
Final
final
decision,
zoning resolution. Yeah.
presumably the final decision.
Right.
Unless things
Right.
decide to make more.
Yeah,
changes.
I don't think we'd call it the final decision, because
Well-
it may not be, but
Right.
we're going to consider the amendment. Hey, buddy, how are you? I'm good, man. Good to see you. We're going to consider the changes, right?
Well, no, I don't know. Maybe we need to think about that, but we're
Well,
going
it's
to
not
look
gonna
at it.
absolutely be a final
It
decision.
won't be until the
Hopefully.
public's had an input
Yeah,
and we either listen or we don't.
it's the notice pursuant to our
Right.
zoning resolution.
To give the public 14 days notice for a public, that's all it is. It's a public hearing
Right.
for the amendments to the planning.
That to be
Right.
presented, correct, and it could change. All right,
And where are you having it?
right here. Well, wait a minute, no.
I was gonna say,
It'll be Lang Hall. We'll schedule it for Lang Hall. I was thinking of the workshop.
do you have to pay for Lane Hall?
Yes.
A few bucks.
So do you want to check the courtroom before you?
No,
No.
no, it's, we're getting a special deal. I think it's $30 right now anyway. I'll verify that. Okay, now we ready? You got anything else that you didn't have before?
Just a little clarification, make sure I'm still with you guys. 23rd will be a workshop at 1. 31st will be the public hearing at 1:30, correct?
Correct. Thanks, Kevin. All right, any other comments, public comments on anything that might be of interest later? Or issues? Okay, hearing none, let's move on to the highlight of the show about airplanes. Come on in, Lynn, or Bob, or both of you, come on in. Bob, swing that chair around.
Good morning.
This one?
No, this one right here, just turn it around a little bit, so face your back to the door. And the reason for that is the camera's up there. And that way, there you go. Everybody can hear you. Good. Okay, airport, you're on. Go ahead, Bob.
Okay. All right, so we'll start off with the fuel sales for March. Total gallons sold is 423.6, which brings in the $1,588.47. That leaves us with remaining in the tank $12.63. Okay.
Is it leaking enough to worry about?
Well, we'll get on to that next.
Okay, because
We've
I thought
been
we lose a
holding
gallon.
Yeah, we've been holding off due to the new tank, but
I know.
that's not showing up anytime soon. Let's see, the AWAS is up and running. The FAA is scheduled to come out mid-month for their commissioning, okay? The only thing holding us up at the moment on that is a telephone line. Vern is still working on it. He updated me 10 minutes ago. It's supposed to be in tomorrow. If it's not, we're gonna need to make some waves because if the FAA gets here and we don't have a dedicated line, they're not gonna pass the, it won't be commissioned. And it's been over a month or 3 weeks since we ordered the line.
So working that is through AT&T or who's he working with?
Apparently it's CenturyTel.
CenturyTel.
So we might have to light a fire under them if it's not in by tomorrow.
Well, I'll talk to Vern and I'll call Tim Kunkel if
And,
it doesn't happen. And it'll happen.
okay, well, that's good.
I didn't know.
I'd hate to see that.
I didn't know you'd ordered it that long ago.
It's been a while. So if we can get that going, everything will be on time. Let's see.
So is all the FCC paperwork done then? so
Yeah,
that they
everything
can-
is completed other than us handing off a dedicated telephone. They have to have that so they can publish it, you know?
Okay.
So that's our only missing ingredient.
So to access AWAS, then the public can call that phone
Yes,
number.
yeah, this way, say you're in Santa Fe, you're flying in, you can, what's the weather doing? You can just make a quick call and see,
Yeah, all
get,
airports.
do I fly in? It's like 90, mile an hour wind or,
Right.
come on in. You know. So it's a,
But it can't be a shared line. It's got to
Yeah.
be dedicated.
so other than that, we're looking good on the AWAS.
Good.
Okay. Next, let's see, we have another hangar being built for Al Avenue. It's a 70 by 70 in lot 3. It's under construction as we speak. Should be done within the next 3-4 weeks. We had a fuel inspection last Monday from Phillips 66. They came out, it's actually a phone because of the COVID,
Mm,
and everything passed with flying colors, no discrepancies, 100%.
Good.
So that's good. Lot 14 is a possible lease with a guy named Manny. I guess that's underway. We're not sure exactly how it's going to end up because he's looking at originally budgeted for a wooden building out there. We told him that wouldn't go. So he might just end up buying a hangar. So we'll see how that turns out.
okay.
But if he leases it, there's a good chance it'll be another hangar because why else would he lease it, right?
Right.
Yeah. Sweet. And that's on the west or east side of the,
That would be on the west side, actually, right? That would be
Right
right
across.
north
and
of
next door to Lynn's,
Right.
where they put the dirt.
right, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get something put on that field.
Can't park there anymore.
Right.
Yeah, no more.
And we only have room for one in there on that new field, or is there room for two?
There's 3 lots there, but
Yeah, but are they finished out to 3 lots or just
I
2?
think they're more, you could get 2 in there if you had to, based on the dirt fill.
So if we get those 2 leased and we look at filling in.
Depends on how big they build.
That'd be
I think
14,
he went to the end of the taxi lane.
15, 16,
So it
17.
is on the charts, it's 3
Yeah.
lots.
Yeah,
Might need some fill on the north end.
Might need a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and then it depends too, if that's happened in the past too, we want to vacate a lot line and go bigger than like the 50 by 50. So anyway,
Depends, yeah.
but he wants a standard lot. So I'd leave 3, possibly more, right, on the west side.
Yeah, so
Or
we,
2 if we.
Yeah.
Make them bigger.
It could be more if we had more dirt.
so there's a little movement. Well, summer's coming, maybe there'll be a little activity. Final and last thing I have is we're working on a couple more bids for the fuel tank issue. As you know, the prior folks.
Refunded the money supposedly.
Yeah. So,
that was our question that we received that. Do you
I don't
know
know.
we received that?
They just refunded it, what, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago is what they said they were gonna do. And
We'd have to
we'll
ask.
have to see if
Virginia.
Virginia's got
but
it.
never saw anything.
And the check was half of the cost, wasn't it? About 40-something thousand.
Right.
They'll probably
Could've
actually
been
come
30.
from me because you guys use my box number.
Oh,
So who's it coming from?
Bosco.
Wasco, yeah.
Okay,
should
I'll
be for
watch,
37,000,
watch for that.
74,000 total.
Mhm.
Yeah, whatever it was.
That's what, we just been wondering if we got that back yet.
Yeah.
Well, we'll check.
Okay,
Ask
So
Virginia or.
you're seeking quotes on
another
tank
thing.
from other, is that just avgas or is it gonna be avgas,
Yeah,
jet
just,
fuel both or?
no, it'd be, just the 100 low lead.
Excuse us, gentlemen, we had to
He's
deal with
milking it again.
we had to do with it yesterday and he wants us to probably,
His birthday's been 3 weeks ago and running now.
yeah. No thought given to splitting one tank into avgas and,
I don't know if they, how you can do that. I'm sure
Yeah,
it's
well,
gotta
I
be-
think the premise behind the whole getting, going from a 6 to the 12 was to make it, we can get the full load at
Right.
a discounted price to, up to,
Right.
and,
One thing you guys had tossed around was asking OT6 or others. But,
Right.
Here's an opportunity now. We've got a pump, a way to credit card reader on both and control both tanks. You want to help invest and look into
Yeah.
that. Could be an option.
the companies I looked at, you could get a split tank to do 2 different types of fuel in, but I don't know if it'd be more economical to do a split tank or do 2 separate tanks.
well, then you have the whole new filtration. It can get somewhat involved. I think for now, maybe we should focus on, let's see what we got on a av fuel
Get the avgas,
and just
you
see.
get a pad designed for both.
Yeah.
Well, we got an opportunity to save money.
And that's why we kind of, at our last meeting, decided to, remember, we were talking about where to put it.
Hmm.
We think we're gonna go ahead and put it
Yeah.
where it's drawn.
Hmm.
Either place, we still need a pad. So if we put it where it's drawn, it's set for future.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Good.
suggestion, that's all.
Did you get a call from some gal yesterday or the day before? I forget when it was. I gave them your names. They had a couple questions to ask regarding plotting the airport or
No,
I'm not sure. Anyway, you haven't heard him back then.
no, I did not.
Okay.
Hmm.
check your voicemail. And I did. It wasn't important enough to really worry about. I just told him you were the airport manager.
Okay.
And the other thing I had was a guy named Bill Lott flies in here once in a while, apparently. I don't know if you've met him yet. He's from Texas. And he's got a place in Oklahoma, I guess. Anyway, he's been in touch with the FAA director in Oklahoma City about localizers.
Oh, really?
And he's worked it with another airport. But anyway, he says this director is willing to hear from us. So I'm going to give her a call and find out what it takes. If it's a grant process, what they have in mind. And then I'll turn whoever her contact is over to you, Bob, probably.
All right, now if we,
Brian, probably.
yeah, that'd be interesting. Wouldn't we need some sort of lighting if there was a localizer?
It depends. LDA, it just depends. We just need to get the details. We did have a problem before because we're too close to the highway for an FAA approval, unless it's to displace threshold of some kind or LDA approach or whatever. We'll have to ask her. So he gave it. It's a good suggestion. I mean, not go anywhere.
Interesting.
Okay.
That's all I.
Anything on when's your fly-in? Did you get it figured out for July now? Or
Didn't we say July or something?
No, I think it was August, September.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I should have wrote that.
Down the road. Okay.
We're still on for a mid-month meeting out there next month.
Happy to have you on, just don't drag your COVID out there.
Yeah,
Hey, we haven't got anything to drag now.
try to catch it out there.
You just want a hot dog?
Chairman Kanda, this is Dale Mullen, and I have one airport related issue that's probably similar to a phone call you received. That if I can, I'd like to pass on to the airport folks.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yesterday, I received a phone call, and this is because in another chapter of my volunteer life, I was involved with the airport. And a guy by the name of, you might want to write this down, a guy by the name of Mike Davidson. He's with AirNav website. And he said that he had been attempting to get hold of somebody from Silver West Airport regarding an invoice that they have against Silver West Airport. That invoice number was 2010227 in the amount of $140. And that was through January of 21. And his phone number is 404-975-0600. And I assured him that I would make contact with somebody from the airport and pass this on, consider that done.
Interesting.
Do you know what it was for?
It's probably for a monthly or yearly subscription to the AirNav system, you know,
That's what it is.
more than likely. But I will call them and we'll get it
Well,
squared away.
over here.
Is that
Be interesting to see what the invoice address is. You might follow up on that to make
Right.
sure.
I'll give them a call and see what's wrong.
thanks, Dan. Kevin, did you have something?
No, I did not.
I think that's all we got.
Cool.
I don't have any other. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Do this next week. See you later.
Yeah,
Thanks, Lynn.
Enjoy that.
yeah.
Okay, next down the trip is the HR finance, and I don't think Vern asked for to be excused for the IT report. I don't know if he was planning on coming back for HR.
You probably didn't think about
I
that.
don't believe he
I
was.
bet he didn't. Yeah. Yeah, just a reminder, we can move on. Ask him, I'm betting that,
Unless he has something specific, I'm fine. with-
yeah, we don't need to see him unless there's, tell him it's not necessary. Okay. Okay, treasurer's report, and Virginia handed us that earlier.
Yeah, I would move to accept treasury report as presented.
Okay, I'll second. And I didn't have any questions. Here it is, Cal. Set it over here.
Okay, thank
You
you.
need to vote on it.
Yeah. All in favor, it's been moved and seconded to accept the treasurer's report as presented. All in favor, have a little discussion first. Anything else?
Yeah, I didn't see anything of any concern to me.
Kevin, you got an electronic copy there.
Yes, I did. Looked good to me.
All in favor of accepting it as reported, say aye. Tom,
All right,
Kevin,
Aye.
and Candace, aye.
and I think before we move on, there probably ought to have a conversation maybe with Kelly and Virginia. I'm not sure that we need to vote on this report every month.
I hadn't thought about it.
Virginia asked me why we do it. I said, well, it's the proverbial answer as far as I know.
They did it
because it's always
Because
been
they've
done.
done it forever, yeah, yeah.
But I don't,
And that question's been asked before on, because you vote on this, you vote on the VSO. I guess VSO, they have.
they send in a report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think,
I have no
I
idea.
think it's important for us to look at it. I think it's important, maybe a quarterly report, but I don't know that each month it matters that much. It doesn't change. Well, it changes depending on what happens. We can think about it. Let's,
Yeah,
I'll ask.
and probably a question for Virginia.
I'd like to talk to him and see what we know. Okay. All right, OEM, I don't know that he's on, are you on, Adrian? We're a little early. I know he's probably tuned in, but not paying attention.
He usually shows up. Don't you think you're gonna show him?
Yeah, he will if he.
He was here earlier.
Adrian, can you hear us?
Give him a call. So everybody hang on here a minute. I'll raise him up here.
I'm gonna forward you an email about short-term rentals. Town of West Cliffs located.
Hey, you're on early. You want to do it? You gonna come over or you gonna do it on? Okay, okay, we'll take a couple minutes here. All right, thanks. Let's take 5 minutes. We'll light back up here in 5.
Is he coming over?
Okay, we're back, everybody. We're on again. And Kevin, are you there? Can you hear us?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Washington's here.
Good morning.
You can turn a little sideways if you want, because there you go. Just that's good enough. All right, what you got?
Okay, you have my report.
Yep.
I'll just go over some of the highlights. The grant reimbursement for the fourth quarter has been received by the county in an amount of $8,169. The reimbursement for the troublesome East Troublesome Fire has also been received by the county now in the amount of $7,444. And that's a reduction of my original estimate by $121. And that's because of a change in the accounting system at the state level, where instead of getting a cost by cost for preparation of the documents, they give you 1% of the total amount.
Okay. Hold on there just a second. So that reimbursement for that fire, it came out of the road and bridge initially.
And it went
right back to
bridge.
it. That's good, because yesterday he was worrying about where a little bit more money for some.
Yeah, so that went back to the road and bridge budget. Tom, did you have a question?
What about the 8169? Did that go
That
into
goes
your
into the
account,
county account.
general fund?
Yes, because it's in and out, and it's a reimbursement to the county.
Thank you.
And so the total deposits, reimbursable deposits to the county for the period was $15,613.
Okay.
The special grant for the EOC in the box was approved. If you go over to the SARS building parking area, you'll see the new trailer parked there. And then we also received an additional $1,488, or we will receive, it has not been finalized, to complete that project. And that's what you see under the 2018 Homeland Security Grant.
So it's coming from the same place?
It's coming from a different grant, but it's money that was reallocated to the county. Pueblo County received some, Werfenau County received some money. So it was reallocated money because we go through and we audit all the accounts. We make sure that the monies are spent. So that was a reallocation, and we're going to put that into stenciling and buying straps to put inside the trailer to be able to tie down all the equipment that's being purchased. I'll speak on the OEM vehicle later because I see that's on the agenda in a different spot, and I'll give you an update on that particular program. The salaries for vaccinations for the month of March were $6,964, and the total salaries to date have been $16,563 for the months of January, February, and March. The activity reports, I'll leave that to your, if you read the report, if you have any questions on any of those items, I would just ask that you point out the date, and then I can answer the questions on those. But the main things I would like to draw your attention to is that we are starting the CEPA process for the county. All 64 counties in the state of Colorado have to go through the CEPA process. And so we are setting up for our county to go through that process on April 21st. That will be the initial briefing for all the participants, and the briefing that will be scheduled later in May. The purpose of that meeting is to explain to them exactly what they need to get prepared to answer the questions when we go through the CEPA. And CEPA stands for the Colorado Emergency Preparedness Assessment. And that is required by FEMA to receive grants and funding. And so we will do a CEPA briefing. Next week is kind of what I call my CEPA week, where I go around to all the primary emergency response responders, like the Sheriff's Office, EMS, Wet Mountain Fire, the two cities' staff to make certain, because they're part of the process as well. What they do is they look at all the resources in Custer County that respond to emergencies. And they are going to assess the county's capability of responding to an emergency within 24, 36, or 48 hours before we need to ask for help. And so on April 21st, we will brief the folks on what they need to do to get prepared for the meeting. And we tentatively have scheduled the actual SEPA assessment for the week of May 24th, either on the 24th, the 25th, or 26th. And I have not picked a specific date yet because I wanted you folks to, you don't have to participate, but you're more than welcome to be there for the meeting because it's an all-day meeting. But I wanted to at least have us pick a date that you might be able to come and participate if you choose to do so. So either the 24th is a Monday. I don't think that's a good day. The 25th, I believe, is a Tuesday. And the 26th would be a Wednesday. And that is the week before Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, I'm around any of those days. You can probably be.
I would not be available on the 26th.
Okay. So either the 24th or 25th would work.
Kevin, when did you hear his dates?
Yeah, I'm checking mine just a second here.
So you already had SEPA training on the 22nd of March.
My training is overview. So what they do with the emergency managers is they brief us on how the processes work, and we continue until that final day.
And then the next thing that's coming up, you're going to be bringing people that are in the county.
That is correct.
Participate in on this May 24th.
That is correct, as to what they need to do and how they need to be prepared to answer the questions that are asked.
How many units do we have?
We probably will have as many as 15 to 18 people participating in it at different points, during the day. So they come in, they give their report. They're welcome to sit and listen to the other reports. But then we're given
all a tabletop, or are you actually doing something?
No, it's pretty much a tabletop. And the way that this will work, because the state employees have not been released to meet virtually. And so I probably will set up something either in the SARS building, a virtual setup, or over at Lang Hall, so that we all can come to meet the requirements of social distancing. And this will be done on a big monitor virtually.
Okay. Good.
I don't have anything on any of those three dates at this time.
Okay, so I'm going to shoot for that Tuesday, the 25th of May. And I will inform them of that decision. And then any questions
On your
any-
EOC in a box, you've got all the equipment?
Okay, we will be ordering that probably on Friday of this week. We're going to order, some of the equipment will come by way of Costco. Some of the other equipment is going to come by way of Amazon because they have the best pricing and they can ship it right to us.
Cool. Is this designed after a footprint of some kind that you got found, or is it something that?
Well, basically, how we design what goes in the EOC in the boxes by visiting other EOCs. And basically, all the equipment that we need will be in the box.
I understand.
And so if we need to go wherever we need to go, it's available for us to do that. Now, I need to emphasize that is a regional piece of equipment. So if other counties need the EOC in the box, they would be able to contact us.
That region is
use it.
the adjoining counties.
This would be the south region of Homeland Security. So basically all the southern counties.
Okay. Southeast counties.
Well, I guess we technically, that's the primary, but it could go anywhere in our state bill if it was needed.
Okay. Just like any fire that
Yes.
is in equipment.
Yes. Are there any other questions on any of the specific dates in the report?
I don't have any.
Nope.
And then that concludes my report for the month of March.
Okay, now you were going to talk more about the truck, I thought.
That is on the agenda, but that was under.
Where is it under? Is it? I see the hazard mitigation RFP award.
Yeah, the hazard mitigation is
I'm
on.
talking about the USDA grant. Okay,
grant.
that's
Yes.
I want to make sure.
If you want to do that
No, I
now,
want to do
okay,
it.
all right, very good. Well, that,
So I've got a question for you.
yes, sir.
Sure where this would really come from, but I have a strong suspicion that we need to look at finding a backup generator for this courthouse.
Okay.
I don't know if that'd be a grant thing.
We already have
Got one.
We just got one. Actually, through Vernon got it. Vernon, myself, and I was thinking you went in on it. Did Vernon talk to you about a backup generator?
Not yet, but
Well, we already bought it, so if he didn't talk to you, then it must not.
Make sure it's big enough.
yeah,
Yeah, it's, there was 3 of them.
I
Oh,
remember
I
talking.
think he did it through, I don't know. But we
I know I
got,
talked to him.
I'm on the line. Can I speak to that?
Yeah, you
Yes,
got it. Go ahead, Vern.
yes.
Hi, sorry about the confusion. Between IT and the clerk's office for elections and the coroner's office for emergency prep, I purchased a small generator. It's not what you're talking about, Tom. It's not the backup generator for the whole building.
Right.
It's a backup generator for elections and the ability to run vital infrastructure in case
Vital
of
services.
blackout.
Right,
It's
that's
it's
the
not
one
it's
you,
not like a whole building deal.
right, that's the one you and I talked about a week or so ago. The small one for elections and IT.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's not the other one that we talked about that would cover the whole building.
Yeah, how big a generator you suppose it'd take to run this entire plant?
The entire building would probably need a 25K.
I was thinking 25 to 35, somewhere in there, huh?
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to be running the air conditioners and whatnot, but we could still maintain in the event of a long-term blackout.
20.
now we missed the opportunity to answer your question, Tom, if I may. We missed the opportunity for the 2021 grant cycle, but if I will make a note of this, and for the 2022 grant cycle, under the auspices of cybersecurity and under cybersecurity, I believe that I can prepare a grant and submit it to the South Region Homeland Security Group. And I think we would have a high probability of being able to get a generator to do that. Because if the infrastructure here at this building, the main building for the county, was to go down, then we would be in bad shape. So I believe that I can get a grant. I'll keep my eyes open for end of the year.
See if it's related.
Money.
You can get it for the sheriff too. I
The
mean,
sheriff already has power.
They've got,
thought he had-
they've got 2 actually.
Oh, is there 2?
Yes, but they actually have backup power that was bought under.
Well, yeah, they've got a generator sitting out there on the northeast corner, but they also have 2 other portable
Yes.
generators. One of them is gonna cost more to fix it, as I understand.
We've lost power here before for a day or 2.
And kind of what I'm thinking you want is something that the minute the power goes off, it comes back on to your generator. And that's what I would be looking for the county.
Yeah. I've had it rattling around in the back of my brain about essential services in this county in the event we do go out of power. And I also wondered about the 3 gasoline stations. Not that it would be our job necessarily to provide them with generators, but boy, if you could, again, I'm not saying it's your job, but if this county was out of power for 2 weeks, it'd be nice to be able to get fuel to get work done and travel and do whatever, but
And that's
just something I've been thinking about.
And in that scenario, let's say we had a major failure. What I would do is to go into the state system and request through the National Guard for power.
They would be temporary power.
Yeah, temporary power to come in, like to get the gas stations up and running. Or
The only
something
other
like
thing
that.
that might make sense would be something down at Road and Bridge, keep the
They've got their
They
generator.
have a small one down.
And if we identified, we probably couldn't do them all at one time, but if we identified a gas station in the county as a critical infrastructure in an emergency,
Yeah.
then we
Good
probably
idea.
could get grant funding to assist the owner of the gas station.
Why don't you look into
So
that?
that, I'll look into that and come up with a plan
Something
to
to
address that.
Give something to do when you're not doing an EOC in a box.
I'm always doing something, but I mean, that's exactly what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And so I'll look into that and come back with you with some sort of recommendation in the next couple months.
All right,
And then I had another question for you, if I may,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair.
go ahead.
Where are we at with our variable message signs?
They're ready. They were maintained. We did maintenance on them last week. And so they're at the county yard right now, and they are available and ready to be put back up when
I know you and Dr. Brown have been talking about some things, and I think Reggie probably has been involved or should be involved in on messages.
well, I think it'd be
Appropriate.
a good to maybe Reggie get the school involved and kind of have kind of a competition, if you will, buy them ice cream or something like that, where we have the kids come up with some sort of suggestion or messages to put on the sign related to, COVID-19. That's the primary purpose, but I think we also will use that as a incentive for the kids in the future to put up
Things for
when we have an
safety
event.
and others.
Yeah, I was thinking a little more about, can we get them out this week with a specific COVID message?
Yes.
I would request that for sure.
Especially since the governor's ramping things down and people are coming on their own and we're trying to keep everybody still safe. We got to come up with some kind of
Yeah.
don't forget, it's your responsibility. Stay safe.
Yeah, I think the roads are clear, so we can get them back in the spots. I don't think we're going to get any significant snow with the warming of the ground that's going to create any freezing
Gonna
problems.
snow though next week.
So I would just ask that you speak with Dr. Brown. I have him provide us with 3 messages. We'll get those programmed in the sign and get those up no later. What's today, Wednesday? Good possibility we can get them up either tomorrow or on Friday.
First part of next week.
Reggie can help on that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yeah, we'll get them up this week.
Okay, thank you.
Monday at the latest. I'll retract and say Monday at the latest.
Thank you for that. I appreciate
Okay,
it.
no
That's all I had.
Kevin, you got any items for the good OEM here?
Not at this point, no.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
I'll step out
I'll
and
see you back in a few minutes.
okay, sounds good.
Stay tuned. All right, that's all we have on the reports, and we can move on if everybody's ready to move on. There's no reason not to now. Unfinished business. I don't believe we have any. Anything from Utah?
No.
Kevin?
None here.
None there. All right, we're going to move on to new business, and public is allowed to comment after each one of these. These are items that we may have action on or not. And we'll get started on that now. So the first one is consideration of funding request for tower site number 7 with the broadband program. And so I believe, Tom, do you want to bring that up, or do we want just Charles and Dale to?
I think they
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Dale or Charles, you're on.
Good morning. This is Bogle. As it relates to Tower 7, as we're calling it now, one thing, things in the discussions and progress with the Drews really has been very smooth and favorable towards the action. And to that extent, as it's, I think we've indicated previously, with the change in the necessary actions that are necessary to support that location, we've got task as it relates to the PER on that site, additional expense of some $2,907.50. And as it relates to the environmental assessment of that site, there's another $1,887. So with the transition of supporting that Site 7, we've got currently a funding that is needed in the amount of $6,794.50. This will allow us to complete those two tasks and support the last of the financial aspects as we know them today to allow the grant submittal to EDA.
Charles, start over here a little bit. You came up with an EPA number of 290705, then there was a number of 1887.
Yes.
And then you came up with the bottom line, which is more than that. What was the bottom line caused by?
The total, no, it should just be the sum of those two numbers, and that's $6,794.50.
Okay, that's wanted to make sure that you were talking about the same too.
Yeah.
All right.
And Charles, those are two different vendors, correct?
Yes.
So we would not specify who that was to. It's just we're gonna need that amount of money to finish up.
Right. There's no change in our subcontractors. That's the two that we've been using all along, but that's the net effect. Actually, with SSC, they were underrunning slightly, and so we took advantage of that, and that supports the PER preparation. And we've been told that they've been contacted, and snow conditions have gone away such that they can gain access to the site to do the necessary definition that we've done that as far as the survey and those items that support the site-specific information for the PER. So the request is that we approve additional funding in the amount of $6,794.50.
I would have a question if I could.
Go ahead, Kevin.
In regards to the power to one of the other tower sites, I know you guys were looking for basically an in-kind donation, I believe, from Black Hills. And I believe that fell through to the sum of $33,000. How does that affect this?
To the extent that our current plan is to cover that by a long-term loan in the amount of $31,450 over a 10-year period, that would increase our O&M expense for the towers, and specifically that one, but to be spread out over the total of 6 sites of some $262.50 a month. Now, realizing it'll be a year to year and a half before that power is necessary for connection, and we certainly will be looking for other opportunities to cover that expense between now and the necessary contracting.
And that's the BDR tower. What's the name of that tower? I forget. East Bull Domingo?
Dale, what is it?
East of Domingo.
East of Domingo. Okay, thank you.
Actually, editorially, there's in the response from Black Hills with the cold spell and such like that, they'd gone through a rate increase and cut back a lot of their related funding, and that was, of course, with this current fiscal year. The ultimate contracting and connection with their power to that tower site will actually be in another fiscal year. So we'll readdress that as time comes by, plus the possibility of various other funding that we've been led to believe once the details come out, there may be funding that we could allocate towards that would save adding it to the O&M cost.
So that long-term loan approach you're talking about, was that through Black Hills?
Basically, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So are they supplying backup power on all these towers? How are we getting them?
No, only this one tower is within the Black Hills service area.
Okay.
I've got another question for Dale, if I may. It's a little off topic, and if we need to do it offline, I'm okay with that too, if I may, sir.
Go ahead. I got a couple of questions.
Dale, with regard to the email I sent you yesterday or day before, can you provide us an accounting of the dollars spent? I don't care whether it's grant dollars or whatever, but dollars are dollars. I don't want to distinguish that have been expended on these towers to this point in time.
I can do that. If Vernon, or if you're listening, I need you to go ahead and authorize me to share a document. Are you there, Vernon?
Do that, Jordan. Hold on just a second, Dale. Do you want to do it right now?
Actually, that would be Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan's in here running the IT. So do you have a document you want to share with us, Dale?
Yeah, I can answer your question, but it's easier if I can just pop up a document that I had ready and anticipating this question. So Jordan, go ahead and give me access to share.
He's working on it right now.
It's Jordan's doing it, Dan. Other related questions back here about what the county spent and what the grants have spent.
All right, thank you. Let me just quickly run down here to the document I want you to take a look at. Okay, there is the, I'm assuming you're seeing that spreadsheet there?
Yes.
Okay, when we talk about the monies that we've spent specifically on the 6-tower project, this excludes money that previously that came in from DOLA on the planning effort. I'm just going to set that aside, but specifically for the design of the 6 towers, you're looking at it right there. And the total project amount down here where I'm circling it right now is 101.8 for the total amount for the expenditure. And this excludes the in-kind expertise that's been applied to it. And here was the sourcing for that money. The DOLA put in 86.7. EDC, a grant from Al Parmore, was 10K. Custer County to date has expended $5,048. And a few minutes ago, Charles Bogle on our behalf requested an additional 6.8 to allow us to do the preliminary engineering review and the environmental assessment / narrative that's required by EDA for tower site number 7.
Okay, and let me summarize it a little bit differently. That's a good summary, Dale. Thanks. That racks it up. But this is for money that was needed to make it saleable so that we are able to get the other $1 million grant from the EDA grant. So how much money, when we first came into the job here, we also had to spend county money on matching grants in order to get to that stage. How much has that been?
No, I don't think we have.
Not on the 6-tower project. There was money spent on planning as we went through getting to the stage that was determined by a consulting firm that the 6-tower project was the optimum way to bring broadband to the county. But that money right there, Charles will need to
Well, I
address.
thought, just so it's clear in my mind, I thought when we walked in and had the first day of office, you all asked us to match some money in order to get DOLA to continue a study or whatever it was to get the DOLA grant, I believe. Is that true?
Charles, that'll have to come out of your mind because I didn't focus on money
Okay.
for the.
I just want to know what the county's already spent on this totally.
Oh, let me, right when you all came on initially and we had that meeting with DOLA, that was for our $1 million.
Yeah,
And to the best of my knowledge, that was without matching
that was
funds.
without matching it.
Right.
Yes,
Okay,
Yeah, unless I'm missing something, I think this $5,048 is the only money, hard dollars we've expended, isn't it, as the county?
I
Or
think
other than-
that is accurate.
So Dale, so that we're not splitting hairs then, money spent on the planning phase, do you have a figure for that?
I don't because I didn't seek that money. Charles dealt with the various people on that it wasn't very much money, but Charles will need to respond.
I would need to review that, but the Centerline Solutions survey that gave us the rating of various locations on the county, from our tower locations, my recollection, the grant total was, an expense was something in excess of $40,000. I'd have to dust off the memory, but I
well,
don't
whatever it is,
remember right off.
Yeah, okay,
was that just grant money?
thank you.
Yeah, that was
I wasn't-
principally grant money, but
Right.
I certainly can confirm that.
Right. So this latest barrage that we've spent $90,000 on one tower just simply isn't true.
I'm going to be kind and just say that's a correct statement.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
But but there is 100,000, well, 90, whatever it is that we've done in order to get this. That was the latest grant we got from DOLA. That was above the $1 million grant. So whatever that number is.
Yes.
total number.
Well, that's as indicated on the graph that Dale presented.
Right. Okay. The only thing what's bothering me right now is the way forward and how we're going to maintain what is the county's obligation to maintain these towers and emergency systems and the roads, and how do we pay for it in the future? Right now, and when we first started this project, we were looking at maybe a $3,600 a month income off the towers. Like we had a couple providers that were renting space. I'm worrying that that we're not going to have the income we think we're going to have, and it's going to cost the county to maintain the system in the future. And I'm worrying about the new technologies, and I think Kevin brought this up the other day as well, that are available with these satellites. If you look in the sky at 6 a.m. approximately, you'll see 7 or 8 of them trailing each other right now. We're watching them every day. So I'm beginning to worry more and more because both CCOM, well, whoever the providers are now, have been spent a lot of money on their towers too. What's going to motivate them to move on to these towers? And that's an issue I've always brought up with you guys. And we still have to have the public hearings to make sure that we can continue to build these things. Yeah. So give me some comfort.
I'll respond to that. I can't say anything that'll affect your worrying because that's a personal issue. But I can assure you, the commissioners, that there are a lot of very, very smart people across the country that are working to provide broadband capability to the United States. And as a result of the pandemic, many rural communities And you recently saw an article that Custer County is one of the worst when it comes to having internet broadband available, are being looked at in the way of being helped. And terrestrial-based internet, terrestrial-based broadband is a part of that solution as far out as you want to look. And as a result, there's always been multiple solutions for broadband, and there will remain to be multiple solutions for broadband. There is no silver bullet that's going to all of a sudden wipe away all of the terrestrial-based broadband capability. What's being proposed here has come out of a study in 2015, 17, 19, and we continue to get more and more support from more and more groups of people for what's being done here. And given the limited amount of money that the county has had to put into this, including the additional $6,974.50 that Charles just put a request into you, will be a very good investment. But again, all I can say to you, Chairman Kanda, is there is no silver bullet. We're looking forward to Starlink coming online. Starlink will not be the silver bullet that eliminates terrestrial internet from the United States. We have one of our members who currently is signed up to obtain beta service from Starlink as soon as it's available in this area so that we can evaluate it. Life is not as simple as what you read in the newspaper. There are slices like a pie that comes down from the sky. I'm not going to go into any of that, but the likelihood that we're going to have unbroken service, even from Starlink with an acceptable latency, I'm hoping, but that jury is still out. So I would tell you to worry less and trust the process.
Okay. Dale, can we finish up your screen so we can get back to our screen, please?
Oh, sure. I'll just go down here and let me drop it here. Okay, we're back. I dropped the screen.
Appreciate that. Yeah, we can't do anything when we're sharing the screen, so I needed to cross-check something real quick. So, Mr. Chairman, the proverbial question is, in my mind, not that we should or shouldn't, it's where are we going to come up with the funds to cover the two expenses for tower site number 7. I was going to shoot Vernon a quick email and ask him if he could check on our balance. Right off the bat, the only place I have any knowledge of those funds being would be in the community outreach.
And if somebody else would want to tap that on another thing just recently.
Let me do that real quick.
In regards to your state,
I'm looking that up right now.
Oh, thanks, you're on. I didn't know you were on.
Go ahead, Kevin. Let Kevin talk here.
I will not send you an email then, thanks.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I think in regards to your statement, Bill, I was the one that tapped that fund the other day for the Wetmore Library.
Correct.
Well, we're waiting on that. Dale, I still, from a public point of view, because we have a lot of public interest in broadband, both fiber and other terrestrial as well as towers, as well as the satellites. I still am concerned, and it's important for people to understand the county obligation to keep this system going after we get it built. And the fact that the WISPs have changed. And if we were only limiting the design to a couple, whatever the load was initially, these are towers are limited in design and height and all that kind of thing in order to support it. And do we have enough capability to rent enough space or to get enough rental money to cover the cost? And that is a worry to me, and it always has been. So
The answer to that, Commissioner, is yes. And as a result of losing the Beddoes Tower, the ability to pay for the ongoing O&M has actually been improved, because we had the Beddoes Tower located on state land property. We had a 25-year lease negotiated for that for a certain amount of money. With the loss of the Beddoes Tower, we will not have a contract with the state land board for some amount of monthly funds, and that gives us less money ongoing O&M. So our situation, which had already been shown by SSC and their calculations, was adequate from the revenues to pay for this, is better today than it was prior when we had the Beddoes Tower.
yeah, I understand, but we haven't even finalized all the agreements yet with all the landowners, have we?
Yes, we have.
We had some outstanding commitments on, is that the only right of way we had at issue?
That's correct. That was the only one for which there was a fee involved, other than trade in-kind service.
Okay, good, thanks.
Give us just a second, gentlemen, if you don't mind. Vernon, you still on?
Yes, sir. I'm getting that information. I'm about to text you a preliminary right now.
Okay. All right, thanks, Bill. Appreciate it. Should have done this ahead of time. I apologize.
Okay, and while we're waiting so the public understands, because there's a couple people on and others will get it later. Next steps after this, what do we got going? Just kind of give a quick summary, because we know our deadline is the end of December, but we've got to get things ready before that. Why don't you do a quick summary there, Dave?
Okay, there's three things. The issue is we need to resubmit our EDA grant request on behalf of Custer County for an additional $1 million. We cannot submit that until we update our PER, which is the preliminary engineering review, and the environmental analysis narrative for tower number 7, which is the replacement for the Beddoes. That's what we're discussing to you today. In addition to that, we had the issue with Black Hills Energy that Commissioner Day brought up. That's been resolved and approved by EDA, that since we didn't get an in-kind offset from BHE, we're going to go ahead and move that expense to the end of the project and include it as an O&M for purposes of the submittal. EDA in a discussion said that was fine with them. That would be satisfactory for them not to worry about electricity at the east of Domingo Tower. So that's aside, and that will not prevent us from submitting. We have the two outstanding issues, neither of which are preventing the submittal. And that has to be with the co-application submittal paperwork from Sangre de Cristo and the co-application submittal from San Isabel Power. Both of those, we have ongoing negotiations with them, and we will get that paperwork because there's no liability involved. That doesn't stop us from providing. So to answer your question, the next step will be, assuming we get this funding from you all today, there's about a 3-week interval for SSC and the environmental firm to complete the new Site 7 updates to our documentation. or on or around the 1st of May, we're going to resubmit to EDA. They will begin the process of evaluation. They will be waiting for the co-applications to come in, and they will then make their decisions and decide going forward. We will then need to, you will need to, but we will support it, the public hearings, et cetera. So to answer your question, next step is to get the EDA submittal in for the additional $1 million on or around the 1st of May. There's nothing stopping this now except your approval of 6.8K. And that's where we're at, and that's what we're waiting for.
Okay, and then one last one, you mentioned it when you're borrowing the money for the $34,000 generator, whatever it was. It rolled the O&M cost to the county to the tune of what you said, $200 a month, or was that a year?
Charles indicated that 10-year payback to Black Hills would be $262.50 a month.
Okay, so $262, and at one time we were thinking we would get $300 to $400 from a provider for rent on a tower. Anyway, those are thoughts that we have to keep in mind, is all, and it bothers me still.
And we are.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would move we approve the fund request of $6,974.50 to cover the additional expenses for tower site number 7.
Please, as a commissioner, as a correction,
Yes.
the amount is $6,794.
Oh, sorry. I had those just backwards. $67.94.50.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I had transposed.
But we'll take that 200 if you want.
No, we got to have lunch today. So I would restate my motion to correct the amount of $6,794.50.
All right, do I have a second for that?
I would second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to find the money, $6,794.50.
Well, the motion was to approve
Approve
that
the money,
fund
that's right.
request. Yeah.
So, but as part of it, we're gonna have a discussion now. Where's it?
Yeah, that would be under discussion, in my opinion.
So that's what we've got, discussion.
We do have money in community outreach to cover that. I certainly am not opposed to looking elsewhere, but as a last resort, I would say that we can cover it out of the community outreach. But I think that's a finance question we got to ask.
Kevin, you got any questions for him?
More of a comment, I guess. And I too have been receiving emails on both sides of the issue from different people. And I share some of your concerns, Bill. That being said, I have to agree with Dell that there's not, even with these new satellites, there's probably not going to be any one thing that takes all of our worries and all of our holes and lack of coverage away. And I kind of came in the middle of all this, and I'm going to have to quit using that for an excuse, but you know, it's a question, I think, you know, of my main question is how much do we expand on this, knowing that it may or may not come to fruition entirely, and so that's a concern of mine, because I don't want to throw money away if that takes place, and so that's my concern.
Thank you. Yeah, I have the same concern as well. It's where we're going forward, and and we don't have a lot of time. We still got a lot of, I think there's some issues that are going to be costly yet. I don't know what it's going to be yet either. And I can't support this right now because of that. That's my position. It's something that I've said it before, I'm not going to spend another dime on this thing if we can't really get a plan that, a business plan that is going to assure us that it's going to work. So, and I know that's the EDA worry right now. That's one of the reasons they made us jump through these hoops, because the business plan wasn't there to support it when we presented it to them the first time. So anyway, I do have that concern, and if we're ready to vote, I'll call for the vote.
Well, I've got a comment if we do. And I guess, Kevin, this is maybe directed towards you a little. I'm getting a reasonable amount of sleep with regard to this whole topic based on this, that I think we have to put some faith in, number one, DOLA, and number two, the Economic Development Administration. If those two entities continue to believe that this project deserves $2 million of their money, then who am I to question that? If either one of those entities said, hey, you know what, you guys, based on where we're at and the progress has been made on low Earth orbit and blah, 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 then I would have some serious concern as well. But if we'll just have to, in my opinion, have to kind of wait and see. If either one of those folks say, no, you know what, things have changed enough, we're not comfortable doling out $2 million, then I think we all go back to square one. Would you gentlemen agree with that assessment, Charles and Dale, or am I out to lunch?
No, I agree. And the fact that, you know, our $2 million in the scope of what is being done in the state and nationally is so small. And, you know, the emphasis is still towards fixed wireless and you know, terrestrial, as Dale said. And two, remember what we have done so far supports a grant request. We
Right.
still have negotiations, competitive negotiations with our doing it folks, as I would say, and with our WISP. So as far as, you know, this is one step, and it's been a long step, obviously, but we still have latitude to protect the county's position as far as O&M and such like that goes.
Yeah, we have to do that. The other point I will mention too is it's important that this ties in to the fiber program that we are also doing because it's, I believe, rather than firing this thing up with a wireless connection, it's better to have a fiber connection to it for the redundancy as well as the capability of having more data. So that program, as long as it is sort of complementary and not harming that, then I'm good with that as well. It has to do that, but that's an issue too that we don't know yet.
And Commissioner Kanda, that issue has been addressed by the Colorado Broadband Office and by the consultants working on we call it the tri-government study to bring broadband and broadband to Silver Cliff and West Cliff. That has been determined that this project is 100% complementary to that effort.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comments? I'll open it up to the public. Okay, I have one other question then before we go forward. No other comments. The impact of not having this money today is what? What will $11,800 due if you don't get it. What can you do?
Well, we can do very little because time is our enemy. We know that DOLA gave us till the 31st of December to obtain the EDA money as a match to their previously awarded. Right now, given the interval that EDA will take to go through their approval process, Trent and I have settled on the fact that we need to get when I say our, Custer County grant request in on or about the 1st of May. It's going to take us 3 to 4 weeks to totally finalize the updated PER and our environmental analysis. And we've waited since the beginning of March for this meeting, and we really don't have any more time to wait. We need to give notice to proceed to those 2 companies to get this done so that we can get our application on behalf of Custer County in on or about the 1st of May. If we sit on this much longer, this project is going to die from inaction.
Okay, good. Thanks for the summary, Dale. Appreciate that. All right. I don't have any other comments to make. Call for the vote. Tom?
Aye.
Kevin? Kevin?
I have concerns, but my vote will be aye.
Okay, I have concerns and I'll qualify that. I vote no. And the reason is that I want everybody to understand that's where I stand. Because if it costs us a dime more, if we don't manage this, if we can't sell this to the public, then we are done. I also want to make sure that we are in bed with the fiber program. And so after this is over, we do have to have a summary. We do have to have a meeting where the 2 of you are together. And I'd like to have you all do that coordination beforehand, but that's where I stand. So vote stands to approve it 2-1.
Thank you.
Gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks, guys.
commissioners.
And please get a hold of Carmel and let's find out how dovetailed we are and what the next steps are going to be. Because if something we do in the future, we don't want to spend money needlessly on a fiber link or a wireless link if we don't have to, and we want to get the best capability we can, of course. So appreciate it, guys. Good job pulling it together. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman, this is Charles Vogel again. Could I put on my other hat or one of my other hats and give you a status on
Not if you want money.
No, this is a good news freebie. You remember here, almost a month ago, we frantically signed off a grant request to CHAFA for consideration of a technical assistance support.
Yes.
About, a week ago, last Tuesday, we did have a follow-up session with the CHAFA and their technical assistance crew team. It was a little over an hour long. We understand that within the next week, we should know whether we were selectee for that technical assistance. And I just want to let you know that that was the status on that program.
Okay, good.
And there is no expense and actually no cash flow. It's provided. CHAFA funds these consultants for the support, so there's no expense to our committee, our housing board, or the county for that matter.
Yeah, and that's good. It came out that way. Thanks. All right, let's move on. And it looks like we've got Adrian back on deck. Another thesis, is it?
It is a thesis. I got to impress you guys after the last one. So,
Okay, this is for consideration of a hazard mitigation plan RFP award. And plan is we did get introduced to this a bit by Guinevere yesterday and you. Yeah.
okay. Just get this right. So a team comprised of Guinevere Nelson, Extension Director and Agent, and myself, Adrian Washington, Custer County OEM Director, with consultation from emergency managers in Fremont and Werfenau County, reviewed 2 proposals for the development of the multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan update for Custer County. The RFPs for this project was advertised locally and nationally using DemandStar, and over 200 companies received our RFP. 6 companies took a look at our document with a heightened degree of interest, but only 2 proposals were received by 2:00 on March 26, 2021. Both proposals, one by Synergy Disaster Recovery in the amount of $37,918, and one by the Response Group in the amount of $28,742, were evaluated based on the criteria included within our RFP. And you have a copy of the RFP, and I encourage you to turn to page number 6 in that RFP, because that's where the evaluation criteria is kept. That evaluation criteria included that we should look at costs and pricing, that we should look at the specialized experience and the technical competence of the project team. We should look at their proposed methodology, their knowledge of Custer County, and past performance records and references. Each contractor was also required to furnish a summary of experience on similar projects, and they were to be prepared to provide examples of both past and current work. Based upon our review of the RFP and a review of the project description and scope of work, which was developed for the plan back in 2019, and Tom, you signed that agreement. We approved, there was a budget of $48,005 allocated for the project.
48,005?
Yeah, about $48,005 was allocated for this revision. The counties and the cooperating agencies' cost share of that $48,000 was about $7,500. And so that you subtract that, so there's about $42,000 available to fund the project.
Yeah.
So after looking at the proposals, certifying that both proposals included the verification of eligibility, which is a SAMS requirement for the government, and that both were submitted in the approved format, which they were, given everything, our total review of the project, it is our recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners for Custer County award the request for proposal to update the Custer County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan update to Synergy Disaster Recovery in the amount of $37,918. That is our recommendation based on our review of the proposals.
The name of the company again?
Synergy Disaster Management.
Thank you.
And when, I know there's an issue of when you get money, how you start spending it before winter flies and all that. If you guys were iron that out.
Yeah, once the county approves, if you approve our recommendation, and I pray that you will, then I will call the Colorado Department of Homeland Security Emergency Management. They will need a letter saying that you have approved, And then the process will begin, because they will then look over our recommendations and they will contact the company.
And how do they award it? Because we have money to start it. And
No, all the
or
funding
is all
comes
from
through
this, isn't it?
Homeland Security Emergency Management, yes. And then the process of scheduling meetings and beginning the revision will begin. And as you see in the RFP, there are some specific dates where they have to provide things, and the process should wrap up sometime around November of this year.
It says October the 26th is when you are required to do it, but you're gonna.
Yeah, we've got that time frame. By the time you guys,
Yeah.
so they'll get it to us and I'll have a draft for, and I'll be giving you periodic updates. All of you can
What was the
participate in the
other
meetings.
bid on this? Was it a lot higher?
No, the bid was actually lower. The two bids, the low bid was 28,742 and Synergy's bid was 37,918.
And
You believe there's $9,000 worth
it's
of,
a better work.
It's
worth twice of what it is.
it's not twice, but it's a better bid for the county.
Because of how they proposed it or what they think they've got to do. or-
Their proposal was excellent. Their proposal exceeds what we are looking for. I mean, it was an excellent proposal.
You saw a risk in the other one.
I never contact on what wasn't there. I think we cannot go wrong with the recommendation.
Kevin, you got any questions for him?
I'm thinking that I did see this RFP before, but I went back through and I'm not finding it in my email, but other than that, I don't have anything. I was hoping to glance through it real quick.
I sent you another one just this morning around 9 o'clock, just to make sure you had it, Kevin. Did you get that? About 9:15.
Let me check just a second.
Okay. And I will put a hard copy in your box if you didn't.
Yes, I do have that. My apologies. I was looking farther down in my email instead of the top one.
Yeah. That's logical. Tom? Got it.
no, I'm good. I hesitated. For the record, I think we need to make everybody understand. We are considering hiring a company to write the new mitigation plan.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Yes.
So I think there's some confusion about.
To write the plan,
what
to
we're talking
coordinate
about.
meetings, to gather public input, and put together a final document in conjunction with my office. And for the public who's listening, is that this is a national process that all counties throughout the country utilize. The money comes through FEMA, and every 5 years we go through this update process.
Dan, you got caught with it.
I did.
Okay, any public comment? Guinevere's good with this, huh?
Mhm.
Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Kevin? To accept the bid from Synergy, the disaster recovery.
Yes.
Did we have a motion?
Maybe.
I only can make a
You
recommendation.
didn't, I'm sorry. I move that we accept the recommendation as you presented. Got a second? I'm sorry, I got jumped the gun, just looking ahead.
Yeah, I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to accept the recommendation from OEM to accept Synergy Disaster Recovery as our contractor. Right to claim. All in favor, say aye. Tom,
All right,
Kevin,
Aye.
and I.
this was a budgeted item
Yeah,
previously, not in 2021's budget, but previously.
Yes,
okay, good.
it was approved at the end of 2019 for 2020 cycle, and we're part of that cycle.
Okay, thank you, Adrian. You got the next item up as well. It's consideration of a USDA grant award.
Okay, and so I want to clarify that it's not a grant award. I just wanted to bring you up to speed on the process. So the grant is not approved yet. I initially brought before you a proposal with a project cost of $74,000. And the understanding at the time was that we would receive $50,000. $50,000 was the maximum award under this particular grant.
For clarify for everybody.
Okay, so so $50,000 is the maximum award that they give to agencies for this particular kind of grant. After review and submitting of the initial grant documents, we discovered my assessment was based on the median household income for the two cities and the county folded in together. That would have got the median household income for $50,000.
Okay.
They reversed that and said that was not correct. They said because the Custer County Office of Emergency Management serves the entire county, we have to use the median household income for the county, which is somewhere between $39,000 and $44,000.
Excluding the towns?
We could not consider the towns. We had to use the median household income for the county. And because
the hazards are. Where the hazards apparently.
Well, where the wealth is. There's more money in the county
Yeah, I know.
than there is in the cities. And so instead of getting a 75% rate, that dropped us down to 55% rate.
Okay.
So if you take 55% of the total project, it lowered the amount of grant from $50,000 to $40,700.
Okay.
So given that, and given all things considered, so these are some of the items. First of all, I'm not getting this grant to satisfy my need to have a truck. That has nothing to do with it. And I just heard that in the community. I just want to clarify that. It's not that I need a truck. I want what is best for Custer County.
Okay.
I want to say that. So given the scope of the issues we have, I've talked to our mechanics. I've talked to the mechanic that took apart the previous truck. I've talked to one of the owners of the Ford dealership in Canyon City. And all of their recommendation is that we need to do something if we're going to do it, because the problems with that model year EcoBoost engine is not going to go away.
Okay.
If we had
Clarify for everybody, we got Ford put a new engine in.
Ford put a brand new engine for the tune of almost $11,500. That's what it would have cost if we had to put that expenditure. We were very fortunate that they negotiated with us. They were able to look at our maintenance records and they fixed it, even though there was indications of other issues related to the maintenance of the truck. So based on that, my recommendation to the board would be that we continue in the process of obtaining this grant. The reason is because if the vehicle was to break, it's on us. Now, it's on us. Secondly, there isn't a lot of inventory for vehicles available in the United States right now. If you look at manufacturing, we're like 2.39 million vehicles behind because they're not able to get supplies because of COVID-19. So there's not like, if the vehicle breaks, we're not going to be able to go out and buy something immediately.
A new truck.
A new truck immediately. Ford just announced that even their manufacturing, so even if we proceed with the grant, we get the funding, it will probably take us 6 to 7 months to get the vehicle even manufactured based on the manufacturing schedule today. The price of pickups is increasing at a rate of 3 to 5% annually. And then we're going through this conversion period from electrification to from gas to electrification. Warranties are expensive. Even if the county said, okay, let's keep the vehicle by a warranty, it would cost us somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,000 a year just for a warranty.
What's your proposal?
So my proposal is that we continue in the grant process.
And
When they submit us the paperwork, if they approve the grant, that we purchase a new vehicle. A dealership has guaranteed us that if we enter into an agreement sometime within the next 8 months, they will guarantee the rate that they want to give us for that truck, okay, $24,000. So that's a guarantee into September.
rate for what? To give us for the.
To use our truck. Our truck was going to be used as collateral.
Okay.
They will guarantee
They'll
us
give us 24,000
for that truck to apply to the deal. 24,000 plus 41,700 would give us about $64,000, give or take 1,000 to purchase a new truck. And I believe with some good management and some creative grant writing, that $8,000 that we thought, $8,000 to $9,000 that we thought we had, we should be able to make
Still
that
outfit
work.
it for 65,000 plus whatever you're going to have a cookie sale for.
Yes, sir. I believe that it is in best interest of the county to buy that pickup
Now
still.
that, and they gave us 8 months to keep this deal.
Well, they said that they would guarantee 24,000 for the truck for 8 months, not to exceed 10,000 miles.
Okay. And how long is it going to take to get the grant approved if it gets approved?
In his letter, as of yesterday, he just reminded me that the grant isn't approved yet. He said, I will need to update the application details, the amounts and the dates for signature, and complete a final review of application documents for submission to our program director. I should be able to get that all completed this week. And if everything goes well, I should be able to have the final documents to you for your review by the end of this week, early next week.
And so is there a downside to this? Is there it sounds like if we don't do the grant, we're just risking keeping the truck in the shape it is. If we get the grant, then we have the ability to trade this truck in and for a more reliable truck, basically.
Yeah, I see no downside to proceeding with the grant. Waiting, I think, is haphazard because they're pulling all the money for these types of purchases away.
And we could also, this is just a question, the old truck, if we decided not to trade it in and we decide to outfit the new truck by some other method that may happen at that time, we could end up with 2 trucks if it were smart. I mean, there's other options to consider down the road. We're not tied to this exact plan. I don't know that the sheriff's department or anybody else would use that truck or not.
Well, I can't address that. You haven't.
A used truck.
Yeah, not address.
I'm just
what
asking if there are
happens.
other options. So we're not
Well,
tied to.
we need the collateral to make the grant work. So we need that 24,000 to make this grant work.
Because that's the criteria on the grant. That's what I'm asking.
Yes, that
Okay.
24,000 is needed
All
to
right.
make this a functional grant.
So it has to be traded in. Because that's the plan that they.
Unless we cash out.
Unless you cash
Right,
out.
unless we cash it out.
Yeah, if you provide 24,000,
I get it.
but then you can, but the problems that we may have with the truck are not going to go away.
Okay, got it. All right.
Couple
that's all.
of questions.
Yeah,
here,
go
if I
ahead,
may.
Kevin. That's all I had for now.
Okay. Couple questions, Adrian, if I could.
Yes.
you were saying they would guarantee the trade-in value of 24,000 for up to 8 months. And I remember, I believe you stating that we had a quote for the new vehicle. How long does that quote last?
We revised our quotes and looked at our estimates last Thursday, so that quote is still good. The 48-1 quote is still good, and it's been revised, and they're still able to do it.
He's really asking, will it be valid in 5 months?
Probably not, because we can't guarantee in 5 months that they'll even be able to build the truck that we spec'd out.
Kevin made a very good point. 24,000 is sort of guaranteed, but
The 24,000 is guaranteed.
But
The
it could
price,
cost us more.
it could cost us more for the truck in 8 months because of the supply and demand that's happening nationally and internationally right
Keep
now.
going, Kevin, if you got another one.
So in lieu of that, the question remains in, if we pursue this grant, how quick do we get a response back so that we can move ahead with the purchase?
I think, like he said in his note, he will likely have documents to me by the end of this week or first part of next week.
You don't know what his approval cycle is once he gets it back.
Well, what I'm thinking is he's going to go to his program director and say, okay, they're still in this proposal. He's going to write up all the documents for us to sign. And then I think it's just a matter of, I would say, Kevin, a matter of 2, maybe 3 weeks before they say yay or nay.
Okay, thank you for that. And then sorry, I have a third one now since I asked that second one there. With our grant being reduced, what are we looking at for a shortfall by the time we purchase this vehicle and outfit it?
Well, it's a very good question. Without giving away all my secrets, I think I can scrap up some extra cash. I mean, I feel so.
What is the shortfall? You said 9,000.
It's 9,000 because we built at 74, and this is where it gets kind of weird, because if we lower the amount of the grant, they lower the amount of the money we receive. And so it's based on, so it's 55% of the total purchase price is what they're willing to give us. And so, yes, I can do some finagling. You always put in
Then
some,
they reduce the money they're giving.
but they're going to reduce
Okay.
the amount of money that we receive.
So bottom line, maximum would maybe be, as Kevin asked, $9,000.
Maximum 9, because we built it based on receiving 50,000.
Got it.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I'm looking to see what it's going to cost us at the end here.
I believe with some creative work,
You going in the radio repair business or something?
I would say 4 to 5. But I believe that, you know, I will do my best. I'm very good at writing grants and looking at opportunities.
Okay.
I believe that we need to move forward, cross that bridge when we get there, because there could be other opportunities that present themselves.
Tom, you got some?
No, I'm good.
Kevin, any more thoughts? All right,
I'm
I'll
good,
open
thank you.
up to the public. Any other comments, public? All right, I don't hear any. Do I have a motion?
So my motion, well,
I really don't need a motion.
no,
Wait a minute. You're right. Okay.
yeah. It's just, I'm just giving you an update
It's an update. I don't see
and
any reason why
proceed
not.
ahead.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right, then I'm good.
Get out of here.
All right. All right, thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, next up, Resolution 21-6, opposing Initiative 16. That's the PAWS Act that Tom brought up last meeting. Tom, you want to comment?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I'm assuming you both have received, well, I know you received
we
it. I'm
did.
assuming you both have looked at the proposed resolution 21-06.
Yeah.
Give all the credit to Attorney Smith here Thank you, sir, for doing that work. Appreciate it. So I would move that we approve Resolution 2106, entitled a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners for Custer County opposing ballot initiative 16, and then we can have discussion if that's.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve. I hate to repeat the whole thing, but it's the PAWS Act. And you said something about joining in with.
No.
And so it's approving resolution 21-06 opposing initiative 16. Okay, been moved and seconded. Let's have some discussion.
Well, technically now, and Clint addresses this here, it is no longer called the PAWS initiative because it's gone through the title board for the Secretary of State. So now it is formally initiative number 16. That's how it will be promoted.
Okay.
Clearly, this is an effort to change how the livestock industry would function. And they're going to go through the signature route to get this on the ballot in November
Going to the
2022.
voters in 2022.
So really I'm torn between whether reading it all or just trying to
Why don't you
highlight.
highlight it, Tom? And are there other states that are doing something similar? It's
I
just
had-
Colorado.
Spoke earlier about the specifics of what this initiative would do if it was passed, but certainly general livestock practices would be deemed criminal, such as artificial insemination, pregnancy checking,
Slaughter them early.
slaughtering them before they've reached 25% of their natural lifespan. So the really the meat on the bones of this resolution is to, number one, point out that the Board of County Commissioners for Custer County strongly oppose Initiative 16 and urge the governor of the state of Colorado and the commissioner of the Colorado Department of Ag to also oppose this initiative, and that the Board of County Commissioners request that all citizens of Custer County are urged not to sign any petition that would place Initiative 16 on the ballot for the 2022 general election. And then that be it resolved that all the citizens who care about the well-being of animals, be it livestock, pets, service animals, or others, are urged to take action to defeat this measure if it is placed on the ballot. So the three real calls for this is, one, get the governor to oppose it, as well as Kate at the commissioner of the Department of Ag, and that we urge no one in the county to sign it, and that if it happens to get on the ballot, we do everything we can to defeat the measure. So that's really the context and content of this resolution. There are other counties in the state that are building steam to do the same thing here. So
Yeah, I was going to ask that. How many?
I couldn't tell you how many,
Don't know
but
yet.
I know
There's
there's
at least a couple. I know Elbert County and Logan County have done
Got
it.
it. That'd be a big deal. What's the group, you mentioned it before, that started this?
I can't speak to that specifically.
I just wonder where it ends. You know, is it going to be illegal to eat them? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it would be until they reach 25% of their lifespan. So it was a citizens initiative off of the Front Range is all I can tell you. And then my other thought here, and then that should do it for me, is we have to do more than pass this resolution today. We have to distribute this resolution. I think certainly should go out as a press release. And then a copy of this sent to the governor's office as well as the Commissioner of Ag, Kate Greenberg.
Yeah, that might be in the dissemination world, it might be worth even sending our resolution and paying for it to be in a few newspapers around city-wise, for sure.
Yeah, and I think too, we should send a copy of it to CCI. They will, as this picks up speed, they will amass a list of the counties that have written
That would be great to get it to
resolutions. So,
Springs and Chieftain, and other newspapers are front range type.
As a matter of fact, I saw an email this morning from Mesa County Grand Junction that they were also going to do it.
Good.
yeah, I think we're on the front end of the curve here, but doesn't bother me one bit in this case. We have to do what we think's right for our agricultural industry.
Something that I learned about this the other day from our vet is not only is it gonna affect livestock, it's gonna affect the way vets treat certain like small animals and stuff. Would prevent them, Clint, the procedure you had on your dog, done on your dog recently, they wouldn't be able to do anymore. And
You want to describe that procedure?
no, but.
I don't want to hear about it either.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
it's crazy.
The other thing we haven't talked about, just a simple, it's not simple, but it's been done for the last 40 years in the livestock industry, pulmonary arterial pressure testing on beef cattle, on bulls. That'll go away. EPDs probably can still do those, but fertility testing, all that goes out the window.
It does say on the initiative 16, allowing for exception only for the care to improve the animal's health and eliminate the existing exceptions for animal husbandry practices. So it would allow veterinarians to still do their job. Just for the record.
Thank you, Larry, appreciate it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and we already talked about last time, although the same people may not be on, it would ban the slaughter of animals that have not lived at least 25% of their natural lifespan, which is almost asinine when you think about that. If you look at the age of the livestock grown and produced for the purpose of food consumption, it's just ludicrous. So,
Kevin, you got any thoughts?
No, basically everything you guys are discussing right now, I had included in my letter that I personally wrote as well, opposing this measure.
Yeah. Okay.
So I didn't include it in the motion, Mr. Chairman, but I would request that at least a press release and a copy of this be sent to the governor's office, Kate Greenberg, and to CCI, and any additional newspapers you see fit.
Right, it doesn't have to be part of the motion. That's part of the action, I think, as a result.
Could that also include to the State House and Senate, or does that enter into this?
It sure can. We ought to just send it to Cleve Simpson and Ron Hanks. Let them carry the thing forward as well.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little early to send it to the full legislature.
Yeah, let them enter it in when the action starts hitting the fan up there.
But I do believe our reps probably could get a copy of this now.
Yeah, they should.
I think that's adequate.
Okay, public comment. All right, hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor of supporting resolution 21, opposing 21-06, opposing initiative 16.
Supporting
our resolution to oppose the 2106, opposing the initiative 16. Okay, say aye, Tom.
As long as I know we're getting this press release to the local paper.
Yeah,
our paper of record.
Yes, we have to do that. All right, local. And Kevin?
Aye.
Kanda, aye. And so I will ask Reggie to, we'll have a press release, work with, you can work with Clint. And then make sure that, and she's done it already, you've got a lot of leads on all the news outlets. Let's just go blast it around. Get it in the dimmer. You hit the radio or the TV station with it. Here's Custer County back in action.
I could forward you that copy of that resolution if you don't have it.
Thank you.
Mr.
Kevin?
Chair, I'd request a short break.
Okay. Yeah, I'm all for that too, as a matter of fact. Thank you, Kevin. Let's take 5. We'll be back at about 16 after on this clock.
Bye.
Okay, looks like somebody's on the line. Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Kevin?
Yes, I can.
Okay, we're back live and in Westcliff. So let's continue. It's time to consider the HR hiring of our HR finance director. And we put it that way because the thought is to consider bringing the jobs back as they were instead of splitting them. And that's why our second consideration would be creating an HR finance assistant director. That's exactly where we were before Donna decided to retire. So given that, we will look at the hiring of the HR finance director. Take it away, Tom. You got a thought on it?
Well, I would move that we offer the candidate that we interviewed, I will refer to him as candidate number one, the position of the HR finance director at a starting salary of $55,000 a year.
I'll second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the hiring of candidate number one. Let's have a little discussion. I was very impressed with candidate one. And I think it's a perfect time to actually get a consolidated position back. And the reason would be our effort to upgrade our systems, make it more automatic, will make it a better way to handle things. And having one person with a possible assistant director makes a lot of sense now, as opposed to where we were before, where we when we decided to break them apart. So I would support hiring myself. Kevin, you got any thoughts?
Yes, I think candidate number one would be able to take on this job. And I know we spoke about going through this transition and everything as well, the conversion. But I think he would be able to take on this position and grow into it. So I would think I would support this as well.
Tom, any other points?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm excited about this hire. I don't think I don't know how to say this. I don't think we appreciate enough the opportunities when we can offer a county position to a homegrown individual. This person graduated from here, went out in the world, got some experience, I think was very successful in that area. Came back to Westcliff for one reason, is because, in my opinion, this is where this person wants to live. And I'm excited about the opportunity that we can offer to somebody who did grow up in Westcliff and left and came back. And this person indicated in the interview that committed to living in Custer County, wants to buy a home here and move on in this whole game we call life. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's a good point, because there's longevity there. That person does want to stay here, so that's great news.
I am also confident that he can do the job.
He can do the job, technically, there's no question in my mind. Okay, well, then let's, you've made a motion, I've seconded it. Any other discussion? All right, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of hiring candidate number one for the HR finance director's job at $55,000, say aye. Tom?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
And Candace, aye. Now, Vernon, are you there? Or if he's not, we need to have.
I can reach out if you want me to. Real
Yeah,
quick.
let's do that. Ask him to give him a quick buzz.
You want me to do it, or you want Vernon to do it? Is Vernon on you? I don't think he's
I
on.
want Vernon to do it if
Okay.
he can. Yeah, we'll let that go. And then we'll wait to announce that until we talk about the other position.
I'm here.
Hey, Vernon, would you do us a favor and talk candidate one on the HR finance job for us and see if he's interested in the job still? At
Okay, I will do so.
It's 55,000.
I will do so.
Okay, thanks, Vernon. Okay, while he's doing that, let's consider creating the HR finance assistant director position. And then we'll discuss how we're gonna get that moved, which I guess begs the question, we're not advertising anything currently, are we?
No. Put it in the paper.
Yeah. All right, creating a HR assistant finance director. We're gonna have to decide, is it the same scope we had listed before? Is that what we will propose when Donna was here? Or do we want to rescope it before we?
I think we ought to look at it, to be honest with you. I had it yesterday and looked, but I wasn't looking for this specific piece of information, and that is that there's language in there.
Yeah, right. And it needs
If
to be.
there is, then I'm okay with moving forward. But I think we probably ought to, again, we ought to look at it. We ought to be familiar with it, but I hate to wait 2 more weeks.
And I don't want to have another meeting to prove it. Why don't we just say what we want in it? Let's take a look and get Vernon to put it out on the street as soon as we can.
I think also if we can, even if we bring on this assistant, if someone applies and we hire them quickly, I think we also need to address that the fact that Vernon will still be involved throughout this conversion process.
July.
So I think, we need to go into it knowing that as well.
Yeah. Point. Okay, so let's have a motion for the. You want to do it, Kevin? Give you some press.
I move that we advertise for an assistant HR finance director to be posted on our website and to the papers.
Can I ask you to include that we will, before we post it, make sure that it's got cross-trained, pull it in there for the job description as well?
Yes, that would need to have the training for both sides of this, the HR, finance, payroll.
Okay, got a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to get an HR finance assistant director position posted on all our media as well. And to make sure that we, before we send that out, that we will take a look at that job description and make sure it's complete. So let's just.
I think we'll have to rewrite it. The ones I'm looking at were separate between the finance director and the HR.
We didn't have one before we separated.
I haven't been able to find it yet, but
okay,
looking.
We may have to, and if we have to write it, we will. But we'll, and then we will circulate it between the commissioners here to make sure we get everything on. That way, we don't have to go back. We'll just make it this complete action.
I think Vernon could be pretty beneficial on that since he's been kind of taking over in there. He'll know a lot of what we need to include.
Right. So we get a draft up there. We'll circulate it. We'll coordinate it between the commissioners, and then we'll get it out. All right. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Tom?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
And aye.
Who's going to take the lead on that to make sure we don't get her through the cracks?
Kevin, why don't you do that? That's in your area.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch what
Can you take
Tom
the
said.
lead, get to work it and coordinate it and with Vernon?
Yes, I'll be up tomorrow morning. I can swing by and coordinate with him at that time.
That'd be great.
Tom, look fallish. Because I think that's when Donna came, sent out that assistant.
Yeah, she sent it out. It's real
She
somewhere.
did, yeah, and I'm thinking it was, it
Okay.
seems like maybe September, October, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it was,
If you can't
Yeah.
find it, I'll look and see.
I wonder if
Got it.
Kathy has it. I could ask her.
No, and,
Copy.
Vernon may have it from when he posted it on the website too.
Yeah,
All right, we got time.
If you do locate that, if I could get a copy on that, that would be great.
If I may interject,
Go ahead. Vernon.
I probably have those, that data I could get you because we posted it before and we make it invisible when it goes away. So I
Yeah.
could get that to you pretty easily. Also, I reached out to candidate number 1 and left a message on the phone. So I hope to hear back soon.
Okay, well, we'll stand by on that one. All right, that's good. So Vernon, we need to get the rough draft of that position. And I don't know if you heard us discussing it, but we'll coordinate it, give it to Kevin, and he'll work it. We'll make sure everybody's in agreement with the new job description if it needs updated. And we'll get it out as soon as possible.
Will do. I think there is actually a county employee that may be interested in it at this time, and I will get that to Kevin post haste.
Okay, thanks.
Vernon,
Yes, sir.
was your phone number the last 2 digits 73 for candidate number 1?
1 second here.
I'm lost.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure we had the same number.
Hey, when you get it and it's real, send me his number because I've lost it. Okay, let's move on. Consideration of the VSO interview schedule. I've had several requests. You know, we had it scheduled and we had to drop it. We've got time. So we need to schedule an interview with the candidates. There's 4 of them right now that I'm aware of. I had a call by one of them that would be is going to be out of town on this Friday through the following Friday, but he's willing to get on Zoom at certain times. He's going to be in Dubai, it turns out, quite a ways away, half a world away. So
What date would you recommend?
well, I would recommend if we want that candidate to be on Zoom, it would be 9 to 1 before the 25th. I'd like to have them all in person personally.
I would agree.
And so that would be the 27th or 8th of April. And we get it in time to get it on the April, BOCC meeting on the 30th.
I'm available the 27th.
Kevin, when are you?
Checking.
I'm good on the 27th.
I'd like to request that we expand our time slots a little. It seems like every time we're kind of cutting short and scrambling to even have a discussion before we have somebody else
We can do
scheduled.
that.
So
By then Tina ought to be back and set up an interview schedule again. And we did 4 one day, and man, that was tough to squeeze it in, but I think we took too much time at lunch, or did we? I don't remember, it's been a while ago. So that's a good idea, Tom, we'll try to fix that. And
I think
I also was in contact with both the VFW and the American Legion, and both commanders are ready to come to the meeting. They're to sit there and listen by what Clint read us is the appropriate.
yeah, I
way.
thought,
They can ask, they're going to submit questions to us that we can ask.
I'm not sure it specifically said they were to be at the interview, but they were to be offered the opportunity to submit.
Questions for us.
And yeah, we can do it there. That was from Dennis Hunt that the commanders of the two
Organizations.
organizations should have some input. So rather than having them sit in on the interview, it would be better, I think,
Sure.
just to do
They
it.
volunteered to sit here if they wanted to, and we could ask them questions later.
But they obviously don't get to part.
They don't get
should
to
not
ask.
get to participate in the questioning.
That's correct.
So do you think they should provide their input to the chairman, or do you think they should physically be here?
Well,
We need to get the questions regardless.
that's your call. I mean, it would probably be prudent to allow them to have a comment to you afterward, but then not be involved, of course, in the decision-making process. Just their statements or their recommendations to you.
So they'd have to be.
They would have to be here.
Yeah, I think they would have to be here for that. If they choose not to, or say, well, I just ask these questions, and if, you're satisfied with the answers, that's good enough for us. There's not any set procedure for it. And I think, I don't have that statute in front of me now, but it seemed like there was something in there about that they should somehow be involved in it.
I think it was making sure that we got their input to ask question wise to.
And I
Satisfy them that he's
again, now I
qualified.
honestly don't remember.
I'm good with having them sit in the room if we think that's the right thing to do, but.
Well, I think that would certainly look good, and I think they would appreciate it. It's a very important position for them, for the veterans they serve.
I don't know how they can give us more input on what they thought of the candidates unless they listen to their answers.
Yeah, that would be my recommendation, to invite them to sit in, give you their thoughts and opinions at the conclusion, and then thank them and excuse them, and then you have you can have your own discussion without making a decision, since this is being done as a closed workshop.
All right. Mr. Chairman, I request a couple minute break here. Vernon just sent me a text, so I need to deal with that.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
All right, let's take 5.
I'll report when it's appropriate.
Okay. Good. All right, well, let's finish this. We have the schedule. We've got, I would move that we have the interviews on the 27th. And I will contact Tina when she's back. She'll be back, I think, by then. And we will set up a schedule that have a little more room in it for 4 candidates that we currently have. Got a second?
Yeah, I'll second it, then we can get into discussion.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to go ahead and restart and complete the VSO interview schedule with the 4 candidates on the 27th of April. All in favor? Well,
Do you want to put a time in there?
Well, that's what
Yeah,
we're waiting for
time.
discussion.
we'll discuss it and set up the schedule. All in favor, say aye. No, Tom.
We need to discuss.
Well, we need to discuss. What am I saying? I want to get it over with. Sorry. All right, let's discuss it. Go ahead, Tom.
Well, I think, first of all, we need to set a start time. Then we can block it out on our calendar. I'm going to propose 9 o'clock for the first interview. And then probably 8:15 for the commissioners to meet ahead of time.
I like that. Kevin,
To work on the
you hear that?
process.
I heard 8:15 to meet to prepare. First interview at 9, and this is April 27th.
Correct.
And I would recommend we block out an hour with 15 minutes between, so that would be 9 to 10, 10:15 to 11:15, and then 11:30 to 12:30, and then 12:45 to 1:45. And I know that runs right through the lunch hour, but
It's okay.
I just,
Buy a few more good bars.
yeah, rather than, like we did before, break for an hour, hour and a half for
Yeah, we
lunch.
don't
I
need to
think
do
we
that.
just pound through it, get it done, and maybe bring in a snack for lunch if we need to real quick. But that's my suggestion. It's certainly open for discussion.
And we got time to modify that and make sure it's real and the people.
Yeah, if something blows up, then
That's a
let's
suggested
and maybe
skeleton
we ought to
schedule.
pick a secondary date in case. Again, I'm committed on the 28th. Could be available on the 29th. So I would suggest maybe the 29th as a second
You
date.
can use that as a second date. Any problem with 29th, Kevin?
I think I can make that work.
Yeah, it'll be just a back.
And then the same time schedule. Yeah, just an alternate date in case.
And we'll lay in and we'll refine that schedule, make sure that times don't.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
At least that way we've got it on the calendar.
Any
Like I say,
other,
if we need to tweak it, we can. I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with that.
any other comments, guys?
Are we going to develop the process? We don't know where we're at with HR.
Yeah, we'll have to do, I would recommend we keep the same process right now. And use the questions that we've got. We can go back and let's pull up our VSO questions from before.
Okay.
And then I will get the comment, they've already got the commitment from the commanders to get their couple questions into us.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Can I make a
So,
suggestion?
yeah.
And you may know more, but I think you're very hopeful for Tina to be back.
I know,
by then.
I'm good,
But Marilyn her doctor wouldn't release her for 2 months.
Yeah.
All right.
And she wasn't even in the hospital.
Yeah.
So I'm just throwing that
Yeah.
out there.
And I guess that's why I went ahead and suggested a schedule, because I hate to wait.
Yeah.
And we might want to call, instead of waiting to see if she comes back.
no, I'm in
call
touch with
those
Rich all the time.
guys, so,
So
yeah.
I'll have a good handle on how healthy she is.
Um,
Her situation is a bit different because it's a complication too, so it might even be longer, so who knows?
Right, yeah.
And then I would request that we post this as a closed workshop on the
Just like we
27th.
did on the.
And then put on the 30th, the,
Consideration of,
okay.
Consideration of hiring the VSO on the 30th. All right. I guess we might as well call for the vote. We got all the discussion we got here. All in favor of the interview schedule for the VSO to be on the 27th with the skeleton, at least the straw man schedule that Tom laid out, starting at 9 o'clock, 8:15 initially, and first interview at 9, others to follow as we mentioned. All in favor, say aye. Tom?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Kanda, aye.
And then if I may, sir, before. we
Yeah, you
move
had
on.
something else you wanted to bring
So
up.
I'm sorry about the interruption, but Vern asked me to deal with issue pertaining to the HR Finance Director. Candidate one has indicated an interest, but will need a few days. So he is going to notify us via email.
Well, interesting. Okay.
I don't want to go off the rails here, but part of the issue was we never had a discussion about the salary. So
Well,
it was
remember,
advertised
they're
as a range.
right. And remember, it's always negotiable. They always can ask and say what, they can say, well, that's not enough or not.
And that's what I represented to the candidate on our behalf, but I'm just telling you that was wise because
Okay.
this is new information. Had we had this discussion earlier, probably wouldn't be necessary, but we didn't. So,
That's okay.
yeah, I don't think it's unreasonable to allow him some time to digest that.
And you did indicate he can negotiate it.
Yes,
Okay.
and then the other problem with the reason Vern reached back out, he misquoted the starting salary. He did not hear you correctly.
10,000. I wonder his point.
So that's where we stand with that.
Okay.
If I may too, before we leave, I apologize. We had set our workshop on the 23rd for the STRs.
That's on the 23rd. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
It's in the afternoon.
Do you have a conflict?
What's the conflict, Kevin?
I may have a conflict on that one. If we could go either a little later in the afternoon or possibly even move that up a day to the 30th, or excuse me, the 22nd. I don't know what your guys' calendars look like on that.
When are you free on the Friday?
If we could even kick it out another hour, it would be helpful for me.
No issue with that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem moving it to the 22nd either, to be honest with you. I just randomly picked that date, so.
I'd like to do it on Friday.
The problem we get into, and it's not fair to the employees, especially if we're off-site, is to expect them to work past 4 o'clock. So that's my concern. If we want to move it starting at 2 or 2:30, that gives us an hour and a half to be done by 4. I'm okay with that, but I don't think it's fair to ask those people to hang around there till 5:30 or 6.
But what was the 23rd now?
The 23rd's on Friday, 22nd would be Thursday. That would actually work better for me. I know you'd like to have it on Friday, Bill, but.
That's okay. Like, I'll mind moving.
Thanks for bringing it up now, though, so we can get this hammered out.
Yeah, take one and.
Well, I had a conflict that I didn't have on the calendar I was looking at when we decided on that.
What were you in a leap year somewhere else?
What's that?
I said, what the calendar were you looking at? Some other year, huh?
Well, I have 2 calendars on my phone and one on the computer, and then I have a hard copy, and that's where it was at.
So best to do it a day early. Is that what everybody wants to do?
I think probably I'd rather do it on Thursday than
Yeah.
get started late.
On Thursday, I can do it in the morning. I mean, it was only Friday afternoon.
Okay. Can you do it in the afternoon on Thursday or no?
Yeah, I got the whole day open on that day.
I would have the whole day on Thursday as well.
As do I currently, so I would guess probably the afternoon might be better. If somebody's gonna have to take time off of work, I probably would prefer taking the afternoon versus the morning, but that's just me. That's my perspective. I don't know.
That's just for the workshop though, right?
Correct. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's not the hearing.
So
Yeah,
nobody's-
yeah.
I don't even know who, it wouldn't matter, would it?
No,
You guys-
in that regard, I was thinking a hearing.
That's what I kind of thought you were.
Yeah.
So the 23rd later than 1, is that what we want to do now?
Oh, we're talking about the 22nd
Or the 22nd, I mean?
at 1.
I'm good with
Does
it.
that work for you?
Sure.
Kevin, is that good for you?
So 22nd, same start time at 1.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's just the workshop here. That'd be all right.
Yes, that works for me much better. I appreciate it, guys.
No problem. And I don't think we would be appropriate for us to close that workshop, would it?
No, it should be open.
Okay.
It won't matter.
Then do we want to Zoom that?
Yeah, we said we had to. That's all right.
Well, I don't think we have to, but I think we probably should.
That was what we sort of agreed to, is everything we do, keep it open. All right, anything else? I like it. It's before noon yet,
So it's Board of Health, 1 or 1:30?
1:30.
1:30.
You'll walk your dog twice.
Oh, yeah.
Feed him the donut, or you need to eat the donut and walk twice.
I guarantee my dog is not getting one. I'll throw my body. I'll get fat and save my dog.
Any public comments before we close up? Any additional business items?
I have none.
I don't have any. Kevin?
None here, thank you.
And I don't hear the public clamoring to get on. Any comments, public comments? Okay, hearing none, I will gavel this meeting closed at 11:48.
Well, where's the gavel?